Adversity, bring it. The struggle, we welcome it. Snooze on life, never that. We are Dave Regina and Mike Pirelli, and this is the No Snooze Podcast. Come on. Welcome back, No Snooze Podcast, episode 145. On record day, it's a nice, sunny, 80-degree day, but as always, I'm in the booth with the big three. Michael, the show Pirelli. Claudio, the voice, Valenzuela. He's a little under the weather. And I am Dave, the body, Regina. Michael, how the hell are you, my brother? Please talk to the people because I am going to try for the first time. Sorry, Orgain, but I ran out of my protein. Right, so I had to stop at the gas station, and I just got some muscle milk, but it's dairy free, which is necessary for me. Like I can't do the lactose, so I'm gonna do a live taste.
Fun fact: muscle milk was the first ever protein I ever tried.
Really? Yeah, back in the day. Yes,
because they were huge.
They were
when
huge.
we first got into.
Yes, so
lifting.
I mean, right off the bat, though,
little rebrand. It looks like.
Yeah, exactly. Rebrand. This is called Knockout Chocolate. This is the Pro Advanced Nutrition version, but good macros here. 40 grams of protein, only 1 gram of sugar, 6 grams of fiber, 220 calories, and 12 grams of carbs.
And you got a white tea, so be very careful.
Yeah, really. Let's see here. I'm nervous that there's going to be. Hold on. Let's go.
This is ASMR. You ever do those?
Okay, it's not as. I was nervous that it was going to be chalky.
I remember it being chalky.
I don't like chalky protein. I'm sorry, I don't have a cup. I'd give you a swig, but
no, I'm good. I already had my protein today.
Yeah, so I need to get this quick 40 grams in real quick. So I'm gonna chug this. You talk to the people. Let them know how you're doing.
I'm still trying to figure out. We record in this studio here, and it's always a little cold. Today it's about 80 degrees outside. Yeah, we come down here and it's like a sausage locker.
It's called Central Air, Michael. All right.
It's like a sausage locker. So I might start bringing meats over here and hanging them because this is ideal climate over here. No, doing well, making some progress. We were chatting before, working on the outdoor pizza garden at Bar Miguel. Digging foundations, CV. Do you ever think I'd say those words?
Nope,
a lot harder than it looks as far as just digging. You know, there's a lot of dirt that you have to put somewhere else. And I just started doing a mound because I figure I can flatten it out a little bit. But I have to say, I get jazzed on progress. Even looking out there and looking at my crooked hole I dug,
That's like, a big hole.
We're getting there.
It look good.
16 by 4 feet.
16 feet in length, right?
How many square feet?
Oh, 16 times 4 is what?
72 square feet.
Look at that.
I believe, which is a lot of cement that I got to fill with.
No, that hole was huge. You dug it with like a shovel? Like
yeah,
is this like a metal shovel or like at the lake, like,
shovels that
Cali shovel
could be between like a kid shovel and an adult shovel, like a middle schooler's shovel. Like if they're getting into construction and it's like
so like if your body was a shovel, it would be that.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
But they're rusted, they're cracked in the middle. But I'm like, you know what? I'm not buying all the newest things.
Right.
I'm gonna do I'm gonna make it with what I got. And then when I earn some new toys, when I prove to myself I can do it, then you do the upgrades. That's my philosophy on life.
All right.
You know,
I like it. Speaking of the body though, real quick. I feel bad that everybody can't be in our group chats because Big Frank, when he sent that picture, I got hyped. You know when your boys just like send you a picture and then you just get super, super hyped? Michael probably felt uncomfortable, but I don't know.
No, I think you both are very hairy human beings.
Yes.
And I just would love a little etiquette of trim it up, right? Before you send me a body pic, both of you. You send me body pics and I'm like, have you shaved in the last year on your bodies?
So Frank was inspired and he said, 10% by the summer. Well, he looks good. He looks good. But Mike's comment back was, if you shave, you'll drop 2% right off the bat, Frank.
It's a trick.
So it's fair.
But we got into the conversation. I don't even know if I asked you on the chat because me and him were arguing. And he's like, I have a scale that I weigh in at home. And I'm like, Frank, there's no way that scale is accurate for body fat percentage.
Just weight or body fat?
Body fat.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Thank you.
I'd agree.
He was to the death. He didn't even go. I told him Monday, go to GNC.
You have to have.
If you're within 15 to 16 body fat, I'll pay you. And he didn't do it.
I think he will be.
You think?
Yeah.
I don't know.
15 to 16? Absolutely. But yeah, I think the GNC.
But his ratio's low. Like his full weight, he's like 170, dude.
Yeah.
So you got to be like, maybe how much fat is that? That's like 20 pounds of fat to be at 15%. That's a low
So
body
yeah,
fat.
you think he's higher though?
I think so, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I'd be curious. But yeah, I think the GNC, the in-bodies are really good because it not only gets the electrodes on your feet when you're standing barefoot, which Frank probably has, but it also does the hands, which is big.
But even then, they're off typically,
Mhm.
right? So
Yeah.
I guess if you're stepping on something consistently,
At least it gives you a measurement of
but I had one of
something.
those scales that said it didn't change the whole time when I went from like 25 to 10.
Right.
You know, like
Yep.
I was checking and
Yes.
it was like it didn't change.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is incorrect.
I agree. And honestly, it makes sense. Like that in-body machine is like a $5,000 to $10,000 machine versus like a home scale, which is like $10 to $30.
It's like, what are we doing?
Right.
But he was convinced. So then we got in this argument. He's like, well, you know, gentlemen's bet when I come home for
You guys get so fired
yeah,
up with
but I enjoy having someone to go back and forth with. And then after we had that conversation, I forgot it was Easter weekend.
Yep.
Not good. Then this week is spring break.
Yep.
So I looked at my schedule. As you know, it's week to week, right? You forget,
Yep.
you set these things up. I have 4 food shoots, 2 food shoots, 1 lunch, pizza lunch in the city I had yesterday.
Mm.
And then Thursday I have a sausage meeting. So it's about it's a sausage meeting. It's about hosting a pop-up sausage event
Yep.
for this local company. And it's our first dip into the pop-up space for
Cool.
Tell Mike saying you. I'm sure I'm going to get some free sausage.
Absolutely.
You know, you got to eat it.
CV, we're starving over here, right? I mean, we're literally starving.
I'll bring you some links.
Come on. I need
The problem
something.
is it
We can hang
doesn't
'em
make
down.
it here because I eat it all, you
Yeah.
know? So, yeah, probably not a great week, but down 4 pounds into Easter, probably gained it all back, but chipping away at it,
Yep.
started riding the Peloton again.
I see you running through France.
You know when you see signs of like, ooh, things are changing, but nothing's really changing yet?
Yeah.
There's signs.
I see you.
You know, you hit a jump shot, you play bad the whole basketball game,
get a little hot.
and then you get a little hot
Get a
at the
little
end. You're like,
hot.
oh, there's a spark.
Yeah, yeah. I get nervous when I see you back on like things like the Peloton, though. I got to be honest with you because I'm
look
like
incredible. Japan?
I
was in
know,
Japan,
but I'm like,
Dave.
is he lost again? Is he lost again?
Why am I lost?
I don't know. Are you just
ask
doing?
me why I'm riding the Peloton. Ask me
yeah.
why.
Why? Why
No,
riding
let's
the
lead
Pel-
into it. Let's be
Okay,
like,
all
oh,
right.
I see you riding the
Oh, yeah,
Peloton.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
concerned.
All right.
Why are you riding the Peloton?
Mike, so I've been seeing lately that you're actually riding through Japan on the Peloton. What
Yeah.
made you pick up the Peloton riding again?
I was like, enough's enough. I'm done with people commenting how bad my gym is, right? How dirty and dusty it is.
the dusty tready.
And I've been waiting for permits to get closed out. I've been waiting for this project to get done. And I'm like, you know what? What got me here is not waiting. Not waiting. Yes, I get myself in some predicaments by shooting the gun a little early, pouring the foundation before I know exactly if it's square. Who's counting? So I was like, you know what? I'm moving all my stuff to the side. And I'm starting to paint the floor of the basement
Mhm.
to make it nice gray. Then I'm going to put my mats down, start being a real human being. You know what I mean? So I did that. And then I'm like, oh, I guess can't work out traditionally this week because I'm waiting for it to cure,
Yep.
you know, the floor, a nice gray floor. So I was like, you know what? I got to still get the sweat in. So I hopped on. I was in Italy, Ciao Franco. And then I hopped in with Kendall Toole for a quick 30-minute sesh.
She's tough.
She's rough. Yeah.
She's
So I did a 15-minute one. And then the beginning of it was like, y'all know if you take my classes, like the 15 minutes are harder than the 30. I said, no, thank
no
you.
thanks.
Went to
I'm out of
30.
here. Exit.
You know, put my bike pants on again for a ride. They're a little tighter. Everything's a little tighter right now.
That's all right. That's all right.
So I'm not lost. I am in the comeback mode. But you know, in comeback mode, you ever have a situation where you're starting to swim, but the tide's against you still?
Yep.
Tide's still against me.
Okay.
I'm waiting for the tide to
You're
turn.
right.
I feel it. I'm not going anywhere, but I'm like, oh, all right, it's starting to turn.
Yeah.
I'm holding the line.
Yeah.
let's say.
Yeah. I see you.
You're
I see
laughing
you.
because you're like you're lost.
No, I get nervous because I know you get bored with certain things. So I'm like, oh boy, he's walking again. He's doing you know.
Well, I can't walk.
No, you can, but I'm like, wait, is that what he's
I
doing
never
for,
stopped walking though.
for fitness now? Are you only walking and
No,
riding?
I was
bike?
running too. I didn't stop walking.
running.
I'm trying to mix it up.
Big runner guy.
You know, I'm trying to mix it up a little bit.
like the cement you're doing.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. And then when you
Yeah.
mix up the cement, it's a little soft to begin. It's
I have-
rock hard.
I have a funny story. I'm not gonna. Well, I'll be honest here. So, I'm sure you saw I got verified on Instagram, right? So,
I did. It's hard though
well, good.
because there's a lot of people that paid for it.
Well,
So who's who now?
so this was the thing. So, I didn't know about this whole, it's called meta verification or something like that, right?
Genius. They made 440 million in
Well,
the first week.
Well, which is smart. Yeah. So I guess you can pay for this Instagram service and get your verification badge. And I think what it is now, they're moving away from the well-known status or a celebrity status to more to abolish bots, because they're saying that so many bots are just taking over Instagram. So they want to see who's a real account, right?
Yeah,
So typically,
which I like.
I think moving forward, everybody will have a verification badge at some point, right?
Okay. Yep.
And I think that's the direction they're going, but they're probably like, let's monetize, right?
Yeah.
So I didn't really know that this was like going on. So I wake up, a couple DMs like, yo, you got verified. I'm like, wait, what happened? So immediately my brain, I don't know why, I'm like, Joe Rogan reposted us. Or like, Drake is listening to the No Snooze podcast.
That's hilarious.
Or like,
you jump right to the top.
Literally, I'm like, this is the big break we were looking for. Like, something happened overnight. Like, what is going on?
Yeah.
Then I go to my email and it's from Instagram, and it's like, your profile has been selected for a free verification badge. The meta verification is going to be a paid service, but for now there's no fees. So I don't even know, are they going to hit my MasterCard for $58.95 every 10 days moving forward?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I had this whole thing like drawn up in my head that like, wow, Drizzy literally just, he probably hit us with the repost or something, and then we got verified.
Think about it. It's got to be a bummer for people that
it was a bummer for me.
You remember when we were trying to get to 10,000 followers so we could do the links for the swipe up?
Mm-hmm.
And then they were like, you know what? Everyone gets
that. Yeah.
I actually don't like when businesses do that.
Yes.
Because then you discourage people to hit the certain levels.
Yes.
And I think Instagram kind of screwed itself because it rolled out too many of these services. So people weren't incentivized to move up the ranks.
Right.
Once you get to a certain follower count, it all doesn't matter anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Versus like if you had tiers, you keep people in the revolving.
Right.
I need to get to the next thing.
Yes.
So if you had more tiers for Facebook or Instagram, I think people would use it more and be more serious about it versus like, once you get to, I don't know what number, throw a number out there. Yeah. It's all the same.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't know, because I've been seeing a couple people on my timeline get verified, and I'm like, oh, that's dope. Like, they're doing something.
It's definitely cool still.
I didn't think, I didn't know it was as accessible as it's going to be.
But even though it's accessible, it's still cool you don't have to pay for it, because having to pay like $15 a month's like a little bit inconvenient.
It's kind of stupid. Yeah. And honestly,
it's not stupid, but like for a business,
yes,
or if you're doing it professionally, like there is a value to show how we get replicated on No
exactly.
Or like even my personal account, like just to have it. I just am cheap when things first come out to see where it's going to land.
Well, I had this conversation actually with a
and if you're wondering, I didn't get the free verification on any of the accounts. None of them. They said, who are you? I said, oh, my buddy, that guy, he's in the club.
With the furs.
Yeah. Isn't this so typical of us? You go to a bar after a wedding, say, and then you just strut right in, and they're like, "Sir, you
can't go.
You can't come in.
We literally,
are you eating a sandwich? There's no food in here," and you're like snacking on a pretzel in front of the guy.
Yeah. No, so I was talking to this content creator, I guess, right? And she was basically like, what's the point of this? And she just asked me a question. Do you think that it's worth the $15 or something if you have to pay for it? I said, honestly, like, especially what we do, right? I think it does actually make sense, because if they're trying to show real accounts, right, and verify accounts just by being an actual individual, it makes business sense. Because if you reach out to a company and that company sees that, you're actually a real individual and you have some credentials behind you, they might be more willing to respond to somebody versus a bot. How many times do we get DMs that are ridiculous? Like, hey, we want you to be a sponsored athlete with this company, but it's a fake account. And then it says, hey, don't DM us here, DM us on our main page. Like I'm not even reading that.
I don't know if you realize,
know what I mean?
Too, for real estate stuff and specific location tags,
yes,
it says reposted on Kinetic Community or like a thing.
Gotcha.
I've been blocking those bots just out of and it's probably hurting my account because they're like, this dude's blocking everyone.
You're so funny. I remember I saw a post that you did. So I liked it. I reposted it. It was when you I think you closed your first deal with Mike Pirelli Greenwich Real Estate. And there was a bot that commented on your
I commented on him.
And you commented back to the bot saying like, Go eat a pizza, you spam bot or something.
Yeah.
It was very funny. I
It's
was
so
laughing.
frustrating because the majority of stuff is that,
Yeah.
and it's just. So I agree with you. I think it's trending in the right direction.
Yep.
It's funny how they literally stole Twitter and they were like, "Oh, you're gonna do it? All right, we'll just do it."
We'll do it too. Yeah. Easter.
440 million they made.
That's
in a
ridiculous
weekend.
though. That's crazy. What I'm just intrigued.
Yeah.
What was your favorite dish on Easter?
Oh, Easter was bad. It was bad.
Really bad.
Well,
Big
Easter
ham.
weekend was bad. Good.
Big ham.
Good, but bad food wise. Bad.
Like what? Talk to me.
Phil Cat had a little like get together. I don't know if it was first. We had Mila's birthday the following weekend, but oh no, it was the same weekend. It was her birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was her birthday. So the weekend before was bad too. That's
the bad.
I'm getting
weekends
mixed
just
up.
blend.
But they had just like a beautiful assortment, catered food.
Mm.
I ate great all morning. I had my shake right before to kind of hold myself over. You get a nice tray of food in front of me,
Yep.
and there's no portioning, there's no restrictions. You know, you get a plate for the kids; they don't eat it. You're standing up, you're walking
snacking.
around. You have a couple bevies, a couple vodis, vodka, soda, splash of OJ. Keep hydrated, keep vitamin C going. Long week, running around. Sometimes the wheels come off, and I was skirting on the ground before Easter, right? So
Yeah,
it's not even like Easter. This is pre-Easter, leading into Easter, right? Then Easter morning, I'm a big frittata guy. Do you like frittata?
I do.
Do you guys
I
do
don't
the
really have
frittatas?
them that often.
Do you do the frittatas?
No,
In the grand scheme of things, out of everything,
yeah,
it's not terrible, right? It's
Right.
not great, but it's at least a lot of protein.
a lot of eggs.
It's all eggs.
Eggs.
And then you throw in some sausage, ricotta cheese. But it usually doesn't have a crust.
Yep.
If you have a crust, it's quiche, I believe. I think that's the big difference.
Gotcha.
Maybe a full frittata.
Like full pan to the face.
Then they got nice bagels, and I'm like, oh, these don't look that good. And then I hear Dana say, these bagels are incredible.
Awesome.
And I'm like, what? And then my cousin's like, hey, we brought them from Long Island. They're the real deal.
Gotta try them.
They were small, so I'm like, oh, small one.
I'll have two.
2.5 later.
Yeah.
Right?
Easy.
Right? Then I'm like looking around, and I'm like, oh, they got snacks and chocolate and did my mom made ricotta. You know what a ricotta cookie is?
Yes. Yeah. I've had them.
Big thing of ricotta cookie. So I'm like, you know what? I'll have a nice mimosa. Mimosa turns into like, oh, I'll have a little
12.
coffee, right? Then the coffee turns into maybe a couple more cookies. I wanted to throw up immediately.
Yeah.
And then I realize, sitting with the family, we're going to the next event. Dana's side, the in-laws, they start up at about 4. So you're doing it all again.
Sick.
Jesus Christ. We show up. They have a beautiful charcuterie. You do them proud of it.
Good
Beautiful.
Spread. Good spread.
And then, Billy, Alyssa, foodies.
Yep.
Mike, remember we were talking about mozzarella cheese? We brought you the one that we think beats the other two. They had a
Wow.
taste test of mozzarella cheese.
Mm.
I try it. It's salty. It's warm.
See if he's getting he's getting wet over there in the booth. Look at him.
But I will kind of want to know from you, when the wheels are off and you're skidding on the ground, sparks are flying.
Yeah.
Do you hammer it home? Are you like,
Yeah.
the damage I'm doing right now, there's only so much damage I can do in a day.
Yeah, I mean, I can't really relate, in this regard. Like, I'll eat it, right? But then I don't feel any remorse. The only thing that I feel is very full after.
So you
nights
don't feel that guilt because you're
No.
so dialed in the rest of the week. You're like, occasionally the wheels fall off and I do enough right that it's not going to
Dude,
lose it in one day.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Let me see if I can pull this quick. So when I eat like doo-doo, like terrible, something weird happens to my body, and like my veins like get even crazier. I'm serious.
Cancel it.
So I
Turn it off.
literally ate. No, I'm gonna show you this. I literally ate my face off, and this was Easter, 8:09 p.m. And look at how my veins looked in my forearms. I'm serious, and I think it's because, and if you're on YouTube, you can see.
I overeat and I have 4 chins. You overeat and you have veins.
But look,
in your arms.
there's nothing here right now, right? Literally nothing.
Well, it's all
but
sugar,
I think
right?
because I had like the carbs, the sugar, all of that, I'm like, this is incredible. And I literally took a picture of it because I'm like, I feel good.
It's like a refeed.
I was like refeeding myself, but I did feel really sick to my stomach. I had like 3 plates of ham.
I'm not a huge ham guy.
Oh, I mean, with the pineapple, homemade. You had the Italian side, like my mom made a nice sausage dish with broccoli and pasta, and then there was the Spanish side with the rice and the ham. It was just that's where I get twisted, the blend of the foods.
It's nice.
Because I want it all.
Yeah.
And then dessert, I mean, you're going 2 plates of everything, but I did feel a little like sugar crazy.
Yeah.
Because my body's definitely not used to that amount of sugar.
Yep.
Then on a drive home, I was a little bubble gutty,
Mhm.
you know, and Callie too. She had like 16 of the chocolate, what do they call it? The Lindt
yeah.
truffles.
Oh yeah.
Oh, but she was geeked.
Yeah.
Like you could just tell that she was geeked up. But her too. She was like, "Dolly, my belly hurts."
Yeah.
Like we were a little toasted. But then honestly, go to sleep and you wake up and you go to the gym and boom, it's done. Like
Yeah.
I don't let there's no traction behind it.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
Short-term memory loss. For
Yeah,
the
and
diet stuff.
you know what I was drinking too, which is not typical of me. I was drinking Jack and Cokes,
Oh my god.
like actual Coke.
that is a literal recipe for disaster.
I know,
How
but
like you just get
but
so
you
hungover.
still have veins, bro.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
yeah.
do that again. I gotta like,
damn. I gotta follow you and be like, all right, what are we doing today?
We're different. Mike.
I gotta
don't
get
know.
it. I don't know if I have to get it under control or you just can't do it like now. I overthink it sometimes.
Yeah,
Overthink it.
yeah. I think you're doing that now.
But when I was in the mode,
Mm-hmm.
I'd eat till I was sick,
Yeah.
but it wouldn't make a difference because the rest of the week I was dialed.
Right. Yeah, I even I meal prepped on Easter Sunday.
What's that? Meal prep?
Is that Spanish? What is that?
No. I mean, I'm still meal prep. I'm still doing it. It's just some weekends, you're like, Jesus Christ. Like, I had a little progress.
Mm-hmm.
Traditionally, though, I don't get discouraged. I keep swinging. So I guess that's a benefit.
Yes, that's a big
Right? Because I've done it a million times.
Mm-hmm.
But the weighing myself every day is great until it's not.
Right.
And you're like, ooh, this is not good.
Yep.
Love it, though. Here's my problem. I'm passionate,
Love
right?
when he gets quiet.
When I get into the food or whatever and I'm in it and I'm around people that are in it, I get swept up in the moment. Yesterday, Phil Tarantino was like, you got to try this New York pizza, right? We went into, I think, West Village. We had John's on Bleecker Street, right? Worked out in the morning, had a protein shake, had a little before the workout. So I was pretty hungry going into it. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to be controlled. Pizza gets sat down at our table, and I took one slice to the face. I'm like, this is incredible. Like, it's very good. It's not my style of pizza, and he got mad at me for that. I prefer a traditional New York slice with a little bigger of a crust, a little puffier, a little chewier,
Okay.
a little bite to it,
Yep.
and then a little more cheese.
Okay.
The cheese. It almost was a cross between a New York slice and like a what's that called?
Don't say like Elio's pizza. Or
No.
something.
What's the type of pizza that is like
Deep
tomato?
dish? Oh,
Margarita.
margarita. Yeah.
It was like a mix between New York and a margarita. It was a lot of tomato sauce. And I like sauce, but sometimes when it's too much, and I fold it, and then it becomes like a tomato taco.
Yep.
Almost.
Gotcha.
Right? That being said, I have a problem. If it's on the table, I'm eating it. He had maybe 3 slices, so I had 7 slices.
Wow.
That was our first stop, Dave.
Oof. At
Stop 1.
Wow.
He orders 4 meatballs. I put down 2 because
That's-
I'm a gentleman, right?
But 7 slices is excessive.
They were small. You would have about 50 in your
I-
heyday.
I don't eat like that. I don't eat
David,
like that.
David, it's just us. No one's
It's just-
listening.
No one's listening here.
No
It's
one's
just
listening.
us, all right?
So then we go to Joe's, which is it was in Spider-Man. It's like very like people say Joe's and people know. Traditional New York slice, like if you think of Ninja Turtles when they get the slice, like that's what it looks like. Big. It was good. I enjoyed it. Ate the whole thing. I'm like, I'm not leaving any survivors,
So
right?
you did one there.
One there.
Okay.
So we're at about 8 slices, maybe 7.
Full pie.
Basically.
Easy.
Then on the way back, we stop at your spot,
Mount Vernon.
Mount Vernon, Johnny's. You can order slices there.
No.
So we're in for a full pie, right? So, then I'm like, all right, well, I guess if the rails are off, I'll have a Dr. Pepper. Didn't have a Dr. Pepper, thank God, so I had a root beer.
Okay, all right.
And I'm like, oh, let me get a little caffeine in myself. I chug, I look, no caffeine, just sugar, 45 grams.
Oof. Rough
So
day.
all in, I'm not gonna lie. Dana reheated about a full pie because I got our pie when we got home. Had a couple more, so I'm at like 10 or 12 on the day.
On a Tuesday.
On a Tuesday, and then today we're doing this. I have a food shoot 1 to 3 at a deli. Tomorrow a sausage meeting. Friday, it's healthy. It's a rotisserie chicken spot.
You're going 27% by the end of the week. That's a good number.
It's possible.
That's
So I'm like, maybe this is all wrong. Maybe I just become like huge, and just call it a day, and be like, I'm done fighting it.
Yeah.
But you can't.
You
You
can't do it.
can't
No.
give in.
That's right.
My lifestyle choices are not contributing to my health, but I'm not willing to give it up right now. I'm like, I enjoy food too much. I enjoy what I do. I just have to find another system. I think the system I have works. I just can't do more than one shoot in a week.
Yeah. You're setting yourself up for a tough spot when you got to do 4 shoots in a week. That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
And on a random Tuesday.
Yeah, like
you know,
the
12
Tuesday,
slices,
Wednesdays,
not
Monday
normal.
shoots kill me because that's how you start the week.
Yeah, that's rough. That's rough. Well, listen, I mean, I'm in your corner. You know, I'm big on this no snooze mindset. So if you need some pointers, you know, I can help you out over here.
I think I just need to take my shirt off when I'm home and be able to look at myself constantly and just be like, all right, we got to change this. All right, get motivated.
We wanted to take a quick second to let you guys know that we've partnered with our good friends over at Orgain.com. We're happy to offer our listeners 30% off by entering the code NOSNOOZE30. Again, that's NOSNOOZE30 for 30% off your first order. If you're on the market for a new protein powder, nutritional shake, protein bar, or Mike's favorite, collagen peptides, Orgain is your one-stop shop. As all of you know, my Crohn's disease is currently in remission, and the only protein I use is from Orgain. My personal favorites are the chocolate peanut butter and the vanilla bean. With the code, you can try a 2-pound tub for under $20. Talk about not snoozing. Go get yours today. Now, back to the epi.
So I've been having a couple of these thoughts off of some things that have been kind of going on in my life, and Ed Milet actually dropped a little segment on what was called pain versus suffering, right? Which was
You love wordplay.
I do like wordplay.
You love wordplay.
I'm a big wordplay guy. And like when you hear that pain versus suffering, what do you think of like automatically?
It's a good question. Sustained pain is suffering, maybe?
Sustained pain. Okay.
Like pain over a certain amount of time becomes
Yeah.
suffering?
Because honestly, I didn't know when I
don't
read,
know.
when I first looked at it, I'm like, I don't really know what this is going to be kind of about. And it was a quick, like 15-minute, just a little drop on his personal podcast. But basically what it was about is it's talking that, pain is something that's guaranteed in our life, right? And pain, I do believe, is also mandatory when you're trying to make progress and excel in a certain direction to get to that next level, right? But I think all of us will encounter the pain process, right? And when you think about it, you have your good pain and then you have your bad pain, right? Like you forcing yourself to go work out, like, yeah, that could be painful, but then there's like the life pain, right? The death, the injury, you lose a family member, you lose your job, like the bad things in life, right? But now the concept, so that's I believe to be fact for everybody, right? That's just life. But now you have like the separator in people that you have individuals who are able to utilize that pain and continue to move forward with their life, or you have individuals that really just suffer from a pain that was caused.
Mm-hmm.
And that suffering, I think, is actually optional with the right mindset, right? You're not like some people like to really torture themselves. I mean, I don't know if my family members listen to this, but there's certain individuals in my family. My grandfather died 7 years ago. Every event, we're crying hysterical over it. And not that I don't miss him, and that he's there with us for sure. But like, to me, that's suffering, right? You're choosing to like get into this mindset where you are okay with getting so sad, and instead of enjoying that present moment, I believe that suffering takes away from really what you're trying to do in any moment. And not that there's not times and places for it, but like 7 years later, to me, seems excessive.
Here's the thing. I don't think crying's bad, right? Like, I don't think if you cry, it's like not an enjoyable experience. Like sometimes there's no one size fits for anything, right?
Yes.
So like people deal with everything different. We have predisposed personality traits versus other people.
Yep.
We're more prone to certain things, high energy. You want to do things, you want to get stuff done, you want to achieve. Some people lack, that type of dialed in, but they have creativity and other things that, outweigh us. So like some people are very in tune with their feelings. They like to cry. It's therapeutic.
Which I think is okay.
Yeah. Some people, I haven't gone through, I've had loved ones pass away, but nothing to the extent that I can comment on something like that because everyone means something different to everyone else.
Mhm.
So like if someone is literally your world and passes away,
Yes.
I don't think you ever forget it.
Right.
And I think if 7 years later time passes, I don't think it gets easier. I think you just manage it a little better. And then I think sometimes the management falls at the wayside, like a diet. How about
The
that
wheels
transition?
fall off.
You sometimes you can't control and it just flows out of you.
Mhm.
But I also am kind of confused by emotion, and I'm still trying to figure out how to be emotional because I've always shut it off
Yes.
because it wasn't contributing to anything. But I think it's made me a little numb to it and a little less human.
Right.
I think the most human people and most people that are level-headed have some type of ability to feel things a little more. Not that I'm like cold,
Yes.
but I definitely don't react in a traditional like start to cry mode.
Mhm.
You know, and I've
Yeah.
been pushed to the breaking point, having 2 kids, starting the company, you know, me and Dana working through not sleeping for 3 years, where your emotions are not your own anymore because you're so all over the place. When you don't sleep, there's a heightened sense of stress and
Yes.
nothing makes sense. It emotionally does not make sense. And I had a hard time like figuring that out. I'm like, what is going on?
Mhm.
Like, why can't I control my emotions? Like, I'm usually very just, you know, put your head down and get it done.
Yep.
So just because someone decides to remember a certain thing at a certain point, like there's triggers too, you know,
Oh,
things
absolutely.
that trigger you.
100%.
I literally have watched that boxing documentary about Caleb Plant, about
Mhm.
how he lost his daughter.
Yes.
No matter when I'm watching it, I never caved on it. It starts to make me cry.
Mhm.
Not like weeping, but your eyes
Yeah, yeah,
tear.
of course,
And you're
tear
like,
up.
this is like, anytime someone mentions something with like a kid going through something,
Yep.
immediately start
Very
crying.
hard. Right.
It's like all of a sudden a trigger that I never had,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah, no, I get that. You mentioned a good point too. Like it's you know, people are wired differently, but it made me think back to so there's an author Eckhart Tolle, right?
I don't know
And
what that is.
in his book, I think it was called The New Earth or something. He had referenced ducks, right? And he said like we should have the ability to be like a duck because these ducks got into this huge brawl, like a crazy violent fight, right?
Like real ducks?
Yes, actual ducks. They get in this massive fight. They're beating each other. But then once the fight is over, they literally both flare their wings, right? And they shake everything off. And then from that second, because of how ducks' brains are actually wired, there's no more pain, no more like suffering, and they're moving forward. They're able to do that because they can't even remember what just happened, right? The human brain is much different because we have the ability to go back in our brain and think about the past trauma, the past experiences that we have. Whereas if we were ducks, right, be like a duck and just kind of move on and move forward. It's a funny concept, but it's actually like scientific because it's how our brains are actually like just wired. But I think that's the part that's actually crippling, right? Like if you're using this in a negative way, for example, you lose somebody.
Yeah.
Now, if you're crying just at an event because you're like, oh my God, I saw this picture, like I just in remembrance, and now you're tearing, I think that's fine.
Yeah.
But if we're now leaning on like, you know, now I can't move 7 years later.
Oh yeah, it's different.
I'm smoking 97 cigarettes a day.
Yeah.
I'm drinking all day long.
Yeah.
That is an actual choice that we're making, right?
Fair.
That's pain versus suffering. No one's saying that your pain is not valid.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't want this to get misconstrued or
Yeah.
seem like I'm an icebox over here.
No.
You know, but the suffer CV's like, you are an icebox, bro. But the suffering piece is something that I do believe that we can grasp control over.
Yeah. My only hesitation with all of it is like I can't blame some people with things they've been through.
Right.
Where I don't know if I'd be able to keep it together.
Yep.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
Like I think of that stuff in a very real, like, I think I would. I think I'd be able to function and
Yep.
like go about my day. But there are things and I'm not even gonna speak it into existence, scenarios where I'm like, I don't know if I'd come back from it.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Just honestly. I've
Mhm.
seen people who I envy because I see how they've dealt with tragedy and continue to be very like selfless, positive. And I'm like, I'm able to do that generally, you know, but there's been nothing that like, you know, I can compare to certain things. You know,
Mhm.
you know what I'm trying to
Yeah.
say?
Yeah.
So it's hard for me to be like, but I agree. I mean, I think in a perfect world, yes, you can use your pain to propel, whatever the word is, accelerate, whatever. Use it for a positive, and that's when the memory actually helps. But it's hard. Yeah, it's hard.
No, it definitely is hard. And there's a couple. So I think the conclusion though that I kind of like created is that suffering. The ducks on the socks. I see you. The suffering that we create in our mind only takes away from that present moment, like I said before, but the damage that we do to ourselves by suffering and choosing to suffer, I think in our mind far exceeds the actual event of what happened. Because something could be so traumatic in your life, but we don't need to keep going backwards in a negative way. Right. And I think a way to do it. So this kind of was sparked too, obviously, by Ed Milet. But there was a couple things just when it comes to perspective. Right. And you have to be able to have real perspective. We have she's almost 80 years old. Right. And she works in the town with us. And literally her building of 45 years goes on fire one night in the middle of the night. She is hearing, when you're sleeping and you hear things, but you don't know if you're dreaming or sleeping or like what's really going on. And she hears in her head, fire, 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 fire. So she gets up and she goes to the door and she hears like, fire, you got to get out. You got to get out. Opens the door quickly. Boom. There's a lot of smoke. Closes the door. Mm-hmm. So now she's panicking because she's obviously an older individual. She's on the second floor. Doesn't really know how she's going to get out. Thank God the firefighters actually came to the door, said, ma'am, go to your fire escape. We'll help you out of the fire escape. Mm-hmm. But literally this woman lost everything, mm-hmm. right? And the perspective of things that can happen so quick in your life is alarming, right? And this is tough because now you almost lose everything. But the reality is, yes, it's painful, it's traumatic. Her son who's now 45, almost 50 years old, has only known that building, and now it's gone. Mm-hmm. I understand that piece, but also like I had a conversation with her. I'm like, I'm calling new apartments for you.
Yeah.
Like, did you get in touch with the insurance company? Like, we need to take action steps to move forward because although this is a horrible thing, you're not dead.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's easier said than done.
Yeah.
But there's been so many things over the past week that like I've just been thinking about that have really like kind of sparked, this kind of thought. I'm driving and I'm in my town vehicle, right? And I'm in the town and I see this old guy and he's like probably, I don't know, 60, 70 years old, but an older guy to be doing construction. He's in a hole, but my man is tired.
When you say he's in a hole,
he's in a hole. He was doing construction, but I could see that he was laid up, like kind of resting in the hole.
Yeah.
While I'm driving by, somebody's passing the traffic, so it was like
as big as my foundation.
It was yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So I see him. He's very tired, and I had a water bottle, and I literally go, "Yo, my man, you want this water?"
And you were like, "Oh no, that's a vodka bottle,"
but not my town car. No. So then I don't. This always happens to me, man. So he gets up and he's very thankful. And he goes, yo, man, this car's really quiet because it's a hybrid, right?
Yeah.
So he goes, you mind just pulling over to the side? So I'm like, oh, here we go. Okay. Like, I'm going to have a whole conversation with this guy now. And he goes, this is a town car, so you work for the town. He's like, oh, I always wanted to get into the town, but I was never able to. Like, I just learned how to speak English, when I came over here when I was 18 years old, got into construction. I've been working 7 days a week. And in my head, I'm like, oh, my God, I got to go somewhere already. Like, I can't really be talking to you.
Well,
but I'm like,
he was napping, so not 7 days a week.
But I'm on to the next thing kind of in my head, right?
Yeah.
And then he goes, yo, man, how many vacation days do you get? And I'm like, well, I get like 5 weeks.
Holy shit.
Right?
Yeah.
But then he said, this is crazy because, the way my brain works, and he's telling me about his brain, he's like, no, you don't. He's like, there's 52 weeks in a year. And this is where it really hit because this is how I think about working out. He goes, you get Saturday, Sundays off. You get weekends off. I'm like, yeah, typically, if there's an event or something, I'll come. So he's like, well, that's 104 days right there. And he did the math and he's like, that's like 14 weeks or something right there. Then you get 5 weeks. Now you're at 19 weeks. And he said, you get federal holidays off? I'm like, yeah, 14 of them.
Yeah.
So he's like, this is all I wanted my whole life.
Yeah.
And I felt stupid because I'm like, here I am complaining
Yeah.
right? Like all the time, just like, oh, I got to go here, got to rush here, I got to do this, I got to do that, which is all valid stuff.
Yeah.
But in the grand scheme of things, my man is 67 years old, still digging ditches, and he's been doing it 7 days a week. Like my life is not that bad.
Yeah. It's all relative.
It's so relative, you know. So these are just things that have literally just happened to me that I'm like I gotta stop. I gotta stop. Like it's not that bad, you know. And then that played into the pain versus suffering thing.
Yeah. It's a constant back and forth of it's not that bad. How do I change it? Because I'm not, I want to do something to. You go back and forth.
I know
it goes back and forth, but I think it's healthy to keep questioning everything.
Yes,
because if you keep doing the same stuff and you're like, what I want to change it, and you don't, then you get in a situation where you're like, oh, I'm just accepting my reality.
Right.
You always got to be like, who's driving this?
Mm-hmm.
Always ask, like, who's driving this? Whose life is this? Do I have to do this? Do I want to do this?
Yep.
Sometimes it gets me in trouble because then I'm like thinking too much and not doing.
Yes.
But I think more often than not, it's a positive.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Or not?
Absolutely. I agree. I heard this other. I got a lot of stories today.
So why was he laying in the hole?
Story time.
He
was just he had the shovel. This was probably you.
I'm just kidding.
He literally had the shovel, and
no.
you could just tell he was taking a break.
When I go. No brakes.
No brakes.
Because then when I brake, I tighten up. I'm like,
0 to 100
takes over, and I walk the other way.
Yeah. I heard this interview, and basically this guy, great guy, he wanted to volunteer at a hospital, right? So he goes and he walks from his house, volunteers at the hospital. And while he's walking into the hospital, kind of reminded me of your wife, actually, gets hit by a car.
What a
right? Just boom. But gets hit by a car so bad that they rush him into this hospital.
To specify too, if you haven't heard, she's okay.
Yeah.
She got hit by a car, broke her leg. She's fully recovered.
Years ago, 10 years ago.
So
yeah. This is
you said it and then follow it up. So people are like, wait, she got hit
I forgot
by
people tune in.
And
for
we're
the
talking
first time.
about pain and suffering, and it looks like I just,
Yeah. So this volunteer gets hit by a car while he's walking into volunteer at a hospital.
No good deed.
Kind of crazy, right?
Nope,
Exactly.
That's the same. Yeah.
So he gets rushed into emergency surgery because his bone is literally sticking out of his leg. It was a bad hit, like a really, really bad hit. And while they're in there, it was I don't know if it was his femur. It was a major bone that was protruding out. They had to do the surgery, but they do some tests on him and find out that he had this alarming cancer that would have killed him within 4 to 6 months. And his whole life perspective just began to change because something that seems so bad in the moment, like my man was going to volunteer and gets hit by a car. But the reality is that car that just broke his whole leg saved his entire life.
That's the philosophy, though. Nothing's good or bad.
I hear you, but if we have the ability to actually think like that before those moments happen, we can do some amazing things.
Yeah.
But but it's hard though. It's
you don't know the result when you're in the moment. So
right.
you're generalizing because you preconceived. You're like, all right, I got hit by a car. That's probably not good.
Right. I mean,
but then they discover cancer. Like, well, at least I got hit by a car because now they discover cancer. They probably saved my life.
And then fast forward a year, goes through like extensive chemo treatment. Like it was really excessive. I'm downplaying what it is. Goes through this excessive chemo treatment. A year and a half later, no cancer now. And it literally would have killed him. First, they would have had to amputate a lot of body parts.
Yeah.
And then killed him.
You know what messes with me is the things that happen around you that are close to home that remind you that it could all end tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And that messes with me because when I am so disciplined and on the right track and this and that, you say no to a lot of things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you think to yourself, like, man, like, should I have done that thing? Should I have went to lunch and eaten 10 slices of pizza? Because if it ends tomorrow, I'd be mad if I didn't.
Right.
So it's a balance of being like, all right, I'm going to be disciplined enough to make progress in my life because if it doesn't end tomorrow, I need to prepare for that. But if it does end tomorrow, I want to make sure that I'm content with that.
But I think we have to find the balance, right? Because I got to be honest, if I died tomorrow, I wouldn't, if I had the ability to think back once you're already dead, I wouldn't be like, damn, I wish I ate more donuts and pizza, me personally, because I feel like my diet that I eat now, I actually enjoy it.
Yeah.
Right. And I look forward to the days that I do get to slam a full pie, you know? So for me, that part, especially with the food, doesn't hit for me, but activities and things like that, I definitely think about.
I'd be bummed.
What, that you
if
didn't
I
eat more
died,
pizzas?
I'd be bummed.
Yeah, imagine we're sitting there and we're recording a podcast from Heaven's Gates. And
No,
we're like, Mike, we could have.
You know what?
Come on, man, we could have done a lot more. I could have ate more pizza, man.
everything I've done is for the big picture.
Mm-hmm.
And if I don't get to see what happens, and I'm like, I know it's trending in the right direction,
Yep.
but I'd really be curious to see if I get there.
Yes. 100%.
You know?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be, I'd be bummed in a sense of like, man, I really would have loved to see the end of the movie,
Mhm.
like see how it panned out.
Yep.
But I'd be content knowing that I kind of busted it. You know, I was like nonstop
Mhm.
all the time.
Yep.
You know, good or bad.
Yeah. Something that I've recently started. And I think now because the weather is starting to change, you know, the leaves are starting. There's a couple trees in my neighborhood that
They're
are like,
filling out.
yeah, they're filling
like
out
me,
again,
baby.
and the colors are really beautiful. But I've been on a couple calls on my way home because typically I'm on the phone, and it's business related, and I get really upset, like really pissed off, and I'm tight, like I feel myself like pissed about not only what's going on, but then I go down the negative hole of like, well, this sucks, this sucks, this sucks, this sucks, my dog's gonna die, blah blah blah, all the negative things, right? So I said, you know what? Before I go walk in the house, I need to pull over, and I've been trying to compartmentalize my ending my workday in a negative space. And typically this isn't like my day-to-day with my coworkers, right? This is like higher level individuals that are I'm jumping on calls with that always have an agenda in the political scene. And, you know, basically I have to like just say, okay, like, sure, let's get it done. But now it's putting pressure on my teams, putting pressure on me, just to make these things happen. But so I started pulling over right at the lake and literally just turning everything off, rolling the windows down, closing my eyes for 2 minutes. And I've done it probably 6 times in the past like 2 weeks. And then I go home and I'm able to walk into the house. And when I see Callie, my energy is fully shifted. And I don't know if it's really sustainable over time, you know, because if you're in a rush or something, you really can't pull over. But it was something that was so like simple that I think is a good strategy for somebody like me who gets really hot to be able to just calm down and resurface.
Yeah. Yes, in theory, but then my question is when you walk in the house and then Callie's on another one. And
Yeah,
daddy,
yeah.
daddy, da-da.
Shut
and
the
like,
fuck
I
up.
just meditated for 2 minutes, you're effing it up, you know? Like, yes, when they're in a good mood, they're happy, they're pleasant. Like, I love that part. But when you wake up to I don't want to do it. I don't want, what do you not want to do?
Yeah.
I don't want to do it.
I don't want to get dressed
Livy,
yet. 2 more minutes.
Not even that. She didn't tell me what she
Callie
didn't want
did
to do. Livy this morning for an hour straight said, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. But crying and
you're like,
whining.
what?
I literally went to the kitchen and I'm like, I'm going to clean a little bit.
He ate all
I'm
the
going to do the
donuts.
other stuff. I got to unattach that stress and eating, which a lot of people have. And like when I'm tired, I want to eat. Like it's the comfort of it.
I
And
do
it's-
stress and protein together. So
It's good. I got my Ghost protein back. It's much better than the crap that I cut corners with. I won't mention it. Not a sponsor. Hashtag not a sponsor. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. It's all controlling the emotion and being present and understanding why you're getting pissed off.
Mhm.
Because then you can be like, that's stupid. Well, I'm getting pissed off.
Yep.
I'm not wrong for getting pissed off, but it doesn't do me any good. It
Right.
is what it is.
Yep.
Right? It's like I'm
one
not gonna be
cares.
able to change it, so what's the point? Right?
No one cares.
The helplessness of having a kid
Yep.
and them just walking all over you, even though I'm not saying you're not trying to discipline, you're not trying to prove, but there's only so many things you do where if they're having a tantrum, they're having you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like you're not going to instantly just stop them from crying.
Right.
So that helplessness has made me be a lot more just like laid back in a sense of, all right, I would let my daughter cry for an hour and I was just sitting there taking it so I can listen to a client be upset with me for 2 minutes. Right?
Yep.
It all translates. I
Yes.
can listen to Dana criticize something about how I'm dirty, you know, how I didn't do my laundry, whatever. Because like in reality, they're probably right in a certain scenario. And it's like the only thing I can do is in the future. So there's no point in being mad about it, you know, and
You're good
getting
at that.
down about it. You just keep it moving.
Mhm.
The keeping it moving, to your point of going from something negative to something else, the thing I keep thinking about in my head is like you're a moving target. It's hard when you're on the move for people to get you down
Right.
because you got too much going on.
Yes.
Like I don't have time to be down. I got to go to this next thing.
Yep.
I don't have time to sit in my thoughts. I got to go this place. You know, I don't have time to deal with you. You're cool. You pissed me off, but I got to go switch it because I'm going to this thing with Livy or whatever,
Mhm.
you know? So it's like almost being busy contributes to being a little more happy because you don't have the time to just have too much time to overthink things.
Right.
You know?
Yes, well said. I like that. I thought about you actually. So there was
You're
I
thinking
know,
about
surprising. I thought
you're
about
thinking about that unveiling picture of 10%. I can't having pants not fit, right? Like
ADHD at its finest. Here we go. Go ahead.
it's unbelievable. Especially low sleep, high caffeine, ADHD. I'm a superhero. Pants not fitting correctly might be the worst come to Jesus moment that I have in my life,
Awkward,
where I'm like, damn, I gotta get my shit together.
right?
Right?
Yeah, yeah.
And you could push it off for a while, and then when you put that wallet in your pocket and the stretch marks of the pant come, you're like, man, I've gone too far.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, all good. So I want to share this though, because the concept is in the grand scheme of things is don't give up, right? And there was this business statistic that said 90% of first-time businesses fail.
Mm-hmm.
90% of second-time businesses are able to sustain themselves.
Really?
But the problem is that 80% of that first 90% never try it again.
It's a good stat.
It is a very good stat, right?
Keep swinging.
And take that even further to whether it's business or, in a relationship, whatever it is. If you were told, and we had the ability to see the bigger picture, and somebody said, you know what, Mike? You know what, Dave? You know what, CV? You're going to be told no 25 times throughout your life on big things.
I wish.
But on the 26th time or the 156th time, doesn't matter, you're going to get that yes.
Yeah.
We would be proactive in life to try to get those 156 no's immediately because we know that the 157th is going to turn over.
Yeah.
But the problem is we as human beings, we can't foresee that. So we end up tapping out and giving up on whatever it is that we're trying to chase before we can ever see the actual success.
Yeah.
If I told you your dream relationship, whether you're in high school and you just want to meet a boyfriend, a girlfriend, whatever, you got to go get 3 no's from chicks or dudes before you find that 4th one. A lot of people, when you get turned down from the person that you go after, you're like, dating's not for me. But if you just knew and we were able to foresee a certain set number, we'd be able to climb the ladder of success much quicker, right?
Yeah.
But the point is, if you knew it, you would go seek the no. We have to start thinking like that without knowing what it is.
I would add to that, and the higher you get up in the yes game and getting bigger things done, there's more no's that come with it.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to keep resetting your ability to hear no constantly.
Yes, but what you've been able to do and withstand, not only with the kids and the family life, but the business stuff alone, you took a big leap, and there's been times that we've had tough conversations. You're like, I don't know if I could do it. I don't know if I could do it. This is you. You've been able to keep going in the face of adversity and starting a new business and a new company in a tough time,
Thank you. I would group us all into this where I know for me, to make it very clear to people, is like I want to quit week to week. Like there's days where I'm like, it would be so much easier if I didn't do any of this stuff. Give up the food brand, give up No Snooze, give up real estate, and just like go work something that I'm just like no stress.
Hibachi show.
And I can relax. A little too stressful now that I'm thinking of it. You
Right?
know, with the
Catching the
knives
actual
and
shrimp in the head.
you got to entertain people.
It's tough.
I would do something where I don't see anyone type of thing where I'm like, maybe I'm just laying brick for someone else.
Bricklayer.
I'm
if you
become a
will.
mason that like just isn't involved in the like I'm the one who comes in and just does the work.
Yeah,
but I don't talk to anyone.
Yeah.
I think about that every week. I'm like, I multiple times in my life said it would be so much easier if I didn't want to do this stuff. It'd be so much easier if I didn't go for these big things. If I played it safe. If I didn't do all the things that my inner voice tell me to do and like try and fail and all this stuff. And like, I would save myself all this pain. But at the end of the day, I'm like, I can't, because even if I quit in my head for a day, that next day I'm itching to get back out there.
Mhm.
Right. So it's like, it's this, do you have that? Do you have this thought consciously of like, I just want to quit? Like this is not, or no?
I do.
Is that a me thing?
No, it's not a you thing. I do for sure. But
Do you have strong ones though? Like where it stops you in your tracks sometimes?
yeah, but also I am very conscious these days. Like when I leave my job, when I actually leave my job, my physical place of work, more days than not, I'm very happy
Yeah.
Like I'm content to be going home, but I'm also content in the environment that I'm in.
Yeah.
The people that I work with.
Yeah.
And even on bad days, I do have the ability to do that, but it takes practice.
Yeah.
Something like this, it's not always convenient.
Yeah.
And honestly, it takes a lot of time.
And let me specify, I'm usually like in a good mood, but
Mhm.
internally I'm like, damn, this is hard. Like I'm mentally taxed.
Yes.
And like, I don't know if I have the ability to keep this going. That's more of a feeling
Mhm.
of like overwhelmed and being like, I think I bit off way more I can chew again.
Yep.
And what I struggle with is I constantly think that constantly, and I'm like, I'm going to change it, and I can't change
And you can't change it.
and I keep biting stuff. And I'm
Yeah.
like, literally and figuratively.
That's tough. That's tough though, because for me, I align it with my organization, and I know when I'm getting overwhelmed because of my lack of organization. When I start
Yeah.
forgetting things,
Yeah.
or I'm missing something, that's not me,
Yeah.
right? So like I immediately say, whoa, like, and it's not a deflection,
No.
but I'm like something is off. Like
Yeah.
I'm doing too much, And when I look at things, like after we leave here on a conversation, my ride to wherever I'm going, it's a great ride because I feel fulfilled. I feel like I'm doing something that makes me happy. Like
do you have
I search for that.
I'm just very curious at this point. Do you ever have the urge of like, I'm not doing enough? I have that more than I'm doing too much.
So I don't necessarily think that I'm not doing enough. I have the thought of it's not getting me
And this is
where
an
I want to
opinion.
go.
This is a question.
No.
Like,
This is my thought. It's
Yeah.
not getting me to where I want to be fast enough.
got it.
You
Got
get what
it.
I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's not like you're
The
not doing enough.
urgency's there.
Because honestly, when I'm just talking to regular people,
Yeah.
or even at work, right? Like sometimes people see how I'm just shifting in and out, and there's literally days. Yesterday, 5 different pop-ups. Like you're just going and you're saying hello, you're but like that to me now is normal. Whereas
Yeah.
like some people are like, well, this is
Wild.
great. Like, why
Yeah.
aren't you just working 9 to 5? Get out of it. Like,
Yeah.
so I do enjoy the chaos, but the thought process I have, I know I do a lot.
Yeah.
It's more of the where's the ha ha ha, like you made it. You know what I mean? Like it, because it doesn't come. But then again, perspective, right? It's like,
Yeah.
well, you're in a good place.
Yeah.
You're okay.
Yeah.
So that's the thought for me.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out because I more often not have the guilt of I'm not doing enough. And I feel like I'm doing a lot, but I'm like, I could be doing more.
Mm-hmm.
I'm afraid of burning out, but I'm also like, I'd rather burn out than not like give it a swing, you know?
Yeah.
So that's that I have that inner struggle. I think I'm a big flip flopper with a lot of things, and that gets me into trouble mentally.
Well, you like to.
I do it though.
Yeah. Oh,
But
I think you do
overthink
everything,
things.
but I think you also you multitask way more than I do. Like,
but I
you
don't know
have
if it's
your
good. I
hands-
mean,
I don't. For me, it's not.
Yeah, I don't
can't.
know.
My personality,
Yeah.
right? Like,
yeah,
I know that I can't give 100% here, 100% there, 100% everywhere. Even though I want to do things, I can't go
Yeah.
there because then I get overwhelmed.
yeah. And I'm like, maybe if I'm at 80%, but I get a lot done, is it worth it? I don't know. Because in a perfect world, if I did one thing, I'd give it 100%. But would I be
Fulfilled.
engaged in the 100%? Right? Like when you carry 2 buckets. Here's an analogy for you. I thought about this. Me having a lot of projects going on balances me out in the sense of like if you carry 1 bucket that's heavy,
Mm-hmm.
you're leaning too much right.
Right.
Whereas you have 2 in your hands, you have a nice balance and can actually
Mhm.
move them quicker.
Yes.
I don't know
I
if
can
that's
see that.
true. I don't know
Yeah.
if that's right.
Well, yeah. It's
Soon
like
to be seen.
you think of buckets, I think of dumbbells, but it's like carrying a 100-pound dumbbell in one hand and then like a 40-pound. That doesn't work,
Yeah.
right? You need to
Kind of level
find,
them out.
yeah.
Hmm.
A 60,
interesting.
60 or a 50.
I wouldn't have went with 100 and a 40, but
Yeah.
maybe like a 35, 35.
There you go. There you go.
Nice casual farmer walk.
No, I enjoyed today, man. I think this was cool. I there was no like specific topic planned.
Yeah.
But yeah, hopefully there was some value. Michael, please let these guys know where to shop. Thank you very much.
Macy's has a great 40% off sale.
Is Macy's even
Blazers.
around anymore? By the way,
Macy's is.
Is it?
You guys want? I don't want to give up my spot though. Macy's in Yonkers has a
Cross County.
Cross County. Dana, shout out Dana. She was like, you should go there. They have a lot of selection of nice blazers. I went there. I actually was restricted. I bought 1 nice blazer, but I was like, I will return because it has a great selection. It's big, a lot of business casual.
I thought you
gear.
were returning the item after you wear it.
No.
That ghetto Greenwich behavior.
Wow. But if you don't want to return an item, you might get some new love for life. NoSnoozeShop.com.
That's right. That's right.
But if you have time, check out Macy's as well.
So listen, man, this will bring us to my favorite section, Dave's Dime of the Week.
Dime.
There's an old Buddhist saying, and it goes like this. Pain is inevitable. Suffering is optional. Not too many words for you, Michael. I didn't want to get you all tongue-tied and twisted.
You're getting much
know what I
better.
mean?
You're
That was
getting good
six.
at this.
That was
You're getting good at
six words.
I bet you the fans appreciate the short.
No, man, they don't. They like Dave's dictionary of the day. They like that, man.
I don't know. You would know more.
I don't know. I just threaten them all. So if you don't like it, then don't tell me.
No, but you're a man of the people. You're on the DMs. You're in and out. Like you're answering comments. You hear. You got the pulse.
Somebody asked me in the DM what was for you, but I answered it. It said, "Where do you get these scenic rides on the Peloton?" I'm like, you click the button.
More rides. It's a section. No,
It
a
says
section.
scenic rides, right?
Dude, nice. They've added.
I see.
Since
man.
I've been on, I have to say, nothing gets me jazzed up like a ride through Italy. Nothing.
So funny. It's so funny. I love it. So yeah, I mean, as always, right? I feel like if you've listened to one, we think you're just as crazy if you listen to 145 now.
Is it?
This is wild.
There's got to be
This is
someone
crazy.
that's like at the every like they're diehards for some reason.
Oh,
There's
absolutely.
got to be one.
Bobby Mazza.
You're right. It's probably Bobby Mazza.
Shout out Bobby
Bobby
Mazza.
Mazza.
Oh man, guys, we thank you as always, and until next time, stop snoozing.
Get up and get after it.
Why'd you just look at my chest?
I thought there was a.
I didn't.
I thought you spilled. That's another Effie in the books. Go follow us on Instagram and Facebook at No Snooze Podcast. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, No Snooze.